Thanks, Marlene, and thanks for asking me to share my story. Um, I often, as Pat reminded me, and I do share in groups, I have spoken in public before, but this is actually the first time I'm sharing my story in this way in front of everybody for a little length of time and not just randomly popping in with a comment about this happened to me or whatever. So, if you look at the picture here, the first picture is a picture of me about I was 2 or 3, and I put up there, ask yourself, how is fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of the unknown holding you back in your life? And I mean, I looked at this picture and I'm thinking she doesn't even know about that yet, right? Maybe little inklings of things that are happening that are shutting her down a little bit. But I feel like at this picture, I was pretty open and I was pretty like I just wanted to go out and play with my friends and just wanted to go through the day doing what I wanted to do, which was not take a nap. And anyway, I was, I, and then I had the question to myself after that, after I wrote this, where did that little die disappear to over the 64 years before my spiritual awakening started? The playful her would sometimes come out here and there, but it got shut down a lot. Uh, and a lot of that was mainly issues with my mom and my family, uh, not what I felt. I didn't feel accepted. I felt like out of place. I felt invisible. I It was not appropriate to show your emotions or cry, or you'd get the, oh, you'll get something to cry about if you don't quit crying kind of comments, those kinds of things. So I had those kinds of things going on. And so eventually I just kind of shut down and I just held everything in, and I started gaining weight about that point. And I just, I fell a lot. I was in a lot of accidents, and this stuff kept happening to me, and then my body quit moving, and I felt like sometimes I felt like maybe I became sick, because that was the only way I could get my mom to pay attention to me. So, but that didn't always work to get her attention either. So, it didn't do me any good. Because in the end, I'm here 64 to now 67. When I started the spiritual journey, 64, uh, I was barely able to move. I was just not able to show my emotions, and I made a decision to go cold turkey with my mom after this picture right here with my brothers and her. Um, she lit into all three of us actually that weekend. We went and visited, and I just said, I just need to have a break. I just need to figure out who I am without the interference of her. And so I joined a women's group. uh, I decided to start looking into, I'd always been, investigating spiritual things and doing all the things, but I just had this tendency to go into these really deep depressions, and then have to dig my way out of that, and then try to figure out how to live in this world, which I sometimes did not want to. It was just so hard, it seemed like. And uh, but um, I decided at the age of 64 that I was just going to take a break from her and investigate what the spirituality was. So I joined that group and started learning things like how to hug a tree, I didn't know you could hug trees. And, uh, try to open myself up to myself and to others and not be so closed off and you know, speak out what my feelings were and different things. So that that is what happened after this second picture. And I began um, and at this in 2023, it was a big healing time uh, for me and my mother because she actually her dementia got a lot worse around the end of the year. So this was picture was in April, and around November she got really sick with her dementia, and so we brought her out here to Colorado. And so then I had to speak to her because she was out here and we were all taking turns taking care of her. And so she got here in February of 2024. No, 2023, I'm sorry. And um, it was a healing time for both of us because she was so close up against the veil that she was talking to angels. And I recognized that. I don't know if my brothers did or not. I kind of mentioned it to them and they looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, she's telling me the angels are saying, they're telling me they're saying they want me to sit in the chair at the end of the bed. So uh, that I already knew the treble notes, that if I sat in the chair, the angel would tell me what the bass notes were, so I would be in tune. And my mom was a musician, so at the end of her life, she was speaking in music metaphors. And so this this led me to have an even bigger expanded view of what, you know, there was life before I came here and there's life after I came here and there's life here in this present moment. And so that opened up my mind to being things being bigger than I thought, and like a little bit of a remembering of, okay, there's something too that I came here for a purpose in this lifetime. And I had previous lifetimes and I have life after this. So she actually, after she told me that about the angel telling me I would be in tune if I learned the bass notes, she fell the next day and she was actually gone in like 2 weeks. So we really didn't have that much time with her, but it was like a miraculous time for me to hear some stories from her. I actually have a couple of recordings and things, and then I, as she was passing and quit talking, I just sang to her. And so that was a healing time, which allowed more love to come into my heart. And and then in that April of 24, I lost my job of 12 years. So I lost my my mom the year before, and then that next year I lost my job. And then I'm thinking, what what does this mean after 12 years losing my job? And I thought, well, I just kept trying to find a job and couldn't find anything, and then I had a brief temporary job and then still nothing. So then I said, well, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe I'm not supposed to go back to the corporate world where I never fit. It was just like I never fit in my family. I never fit in the corporate world. And so anyway, we'll go here to slide 2, which is I call the great unraveling of my body, mind, and spirit. And you can see I got my first tattoo ever right there. It's a butterfly. And this was at the beginning of my spiritual journey. Be the flawed, quirky, unique, beautiful, and magical person that you are. And I got that tattoo not even knowing how magical I really am. That's what I keep telling myself now. I'm like, what? Like all this stuff is happening. So I wrote a poem called The Great Unraveling of My Body, Mind, and Spirit, because this past 3 years, that's been my journey. And so I just want to read the poem to you because it really just kind of sums up what this 3 years has been for me. The all of me was spun tight like a top that has never spun. I convinced myself that it was too hard to move my body. My mind was foggy and numb. My connection to spirit was frozen. And I had a choice point at 64, and I chose me. There must be more to life than giving up. I came back to my breath. Just breathe. With each breath, I began to heal. As I started to heal, the unraveling began. It's been 3 years and I'm still unraveling. I stuffed all my emotions down in my body, and I literally was like a top that had never spun. The more breath work I did, the better my lungs started working, the better my mind started thinking, the better my connection became with God. At some point, I realized that I love myself. I deserve to freely. Whew. I deserve to freely move my body. I am not a sick person. I am connected to the all of everything. By being connected to the all of everything, I am oneness. I am source. I am open to feeling all my emotions. I move through all with flow and ease. I see the sacredness in me, others, and the universe. Mother Gaia supports me as I root myself in her core. Source supports me as I connect to the heavens. And here I am, the bridge between heaven and earth. I stand in my love and light, and it shines my path forward. My body is unraveling, the tension and knots in my muscles dissolving. The bones in my neck and back are straightening. The numbness in my feet is disappearing. My mind is unraveling. The fogginess is lifting and thoughts are flowing. I can be in the quietness because the chaos is gone. I drop in quickly to connect with my divine soul self and my guides. My spirit is unraveling. I know I'm unconditional love because God told me so. I connect with God throughout my day to stay in the frequencies and energy flow. I'm never alone now because God is always with me. My unraveling is beautifully awesome. My body moves with flow and ease. My mind is consciously aware of all of everything. My spirit is pure love and joy. Let my unraveling continue. I love the me that I'm remembering and becoming and creating. So this is something I wrote um, because I want to remind myself of this every day and every night. I say this. It's I'm a powerful divine child of God having a human experience. I am connected to the divine frequency of my highest path forward and my divine soul self. And so it is. Amen. And then I say these affirmations. I am that I am. I align with my soul's mission, body, mind, and spirit. I am love. Love is source, and source is me. Love is how I see me. It's how I see you. And it's how I see the all of everything. I am safe and secure in my body. I am a radiant being of light and healing. I feel peace. I am safe. And I heal from a whole place. Now I want to talk about the gifts I've remembered and that are coming to me. And I believe that I've that how I'm remembering things and how the gifts are coming to me is because of the breath work and the plant medicine. And because of the breath work and the plant medicine, I've come into the light language and all these other gifts because I've been able to more deeply connect through the breath work and the plant medicine to come into the remembrance, because I'm closer to Mother Gaia and I'm closer to the all of everything and the oneness when I am in the breath work or the plant medicine or a meditation. So the breath work is where it started. As far as I started getting these thoughts of where to place my hands on my legs or my back or my neck to start healing these with the energy that was coming out of my hands. And I wouldn't have known to do those things because I'm not a massage therapist and I'm not a chiropractor. So, but as I was in the breath work, or I was in a plant medicine journey, and it's just psilocybin, I didn't do any of the other kind of things. But it allowed me to start getting a little bit of movement in my body because I was able to with the thoughts that were coming through to do this or do that, to start unraveling my body. And it took, I mean, it really is, I'm still unraveling it now. It's like I was really tight and stove up and also just stuff inside my body. So doing these practices of the breath work and then that allowed me to have those connections. And in January of 2025, I was in a psilocybin journey, and on Friday night, I had had this big experience of a lot of purging and a lot of emotions coming out. And on Saturday, I felt like, well, I'm just going to call my soul back into my body because I feel like my soul wasn't in my body. And so I did that, and I immediately came into the light language, speaking it, signing it, singing it, just like that. All I did was I called my soul back in, and it was there. And so I must have been ready for it because it just all came in. I'd heard other people speak it, but I didn't really know anything about it. And when it came into me, it just felt like home, and my heart opened up, and it just, the more I speak it and the more I hear it, the more my heart expands and opens. And so that was a really big thing that happened in that particular journey. And so once I felt that, I knew it was instantly connected to God. And I felt an overwhelming sense of love, and this started my journey to find out about this gift of light language and the actual. It was not only the light language, it was like my whole body changed. The energy in me was swirling, and I just could all of a sudden just drop in so easily to connect to God. And in July of 2025, I still hadn't found a job, so this was another interesting point for me in my journey. I was like, well, I obviously didn't fit in the corporate world, and for whatever reason, the universe is telling me, nope, you don't need to go back there, and that's why you can't find one. So I'm like, well, I decided, okay, the spiritual calling, I feel like that's what is calling me to do some work with the light language and the healing capabilities I've come into. So I started thinking about um, the spiritual calling and how I would manifest that. And um, it turned out um, that I had another journey in August, and as I had the intention to break and release old patterns and connect to God more deeply, all of a sudden, I was in the bathroom at one point during the journey, and I all of a sudden started talking to God. And I'm like, this is too funny. I'm in the bathroom talking to God in rap music. I swear to God, rap music. I was speaking my light language in rap. And I was like, I don't know any rap. And so it was like, I know you told me what you want me to do, but I don't remember what you said because I wasn't listening. So could you tell me again? And I just went on and on and on and on like this, talking to him in my rap music light language. And I was like, this is crazy. And I just had this vision of like, you're supposed to speak out about love and joy and just start posting light language about love and joy. And so I did in starting around end of September, 1st of October, I started posting on TikTok and Instagram. And I basically, when I asked him to tell me again what he'd been telling me, he told me I was a teacher and a healer and that I was to spread the word of love and joy. So that's what I started doing. And by January, I had created my YouTube channel, and by February, I had created a website. And let's see, which slide am I on? And so this is the one about my spiritual calling. So I made headway in creating the structure for my website and my YouTube channel, and I still mainly was being guided to be in the quiet, which I had learned to do in that August journey, because that's how I was able to finally hear God and ask him questions and have him talk to me. And so I have a lot of these. In February, I had a big revelation that I not only forgave my mom, but I forgave myself for our entanglements, which really opened up my heart in a big way. And then a few days later, I had what I call a dream vision because I was kind of half awake, half asleep. And I had this vision about angels coming down and placing candles on all of my chakras to open them up and heal them. And a couple of days later, I drew a picture of it. And after I drew the picture of it, it ended up being there was this lines of energies coming out of my heart, and just going out like that. So it was like an energy portal into my heart. And I and then literally lights on every single chakra from my soul chakra down to the earth chakra. And then I had more pieces of me, soul pieces of me coming back all during this time, all these different activations and upgrades that were happening. And this was the start of that piece. And that's continued the rest of this year. So so my spiritual calling right now, as I know it, is to use my light language and energetic healing capabilities to bring those who find me the channeled healing and messages that their soul and body need. And this, I can feel, like last time we met, I was talking about feeling into your body. We were talking about feeling into your body and I always feel into my trust center, which is my solar plexus, but I also feel with my heart and check in with my guides. But if I feel in my trust center that what I am going, deciding to do or not do, that's how I figure those things out. And that's how I've gone through this whole process of figuring out how to speak my truth and my light language, and And anything that I'm channeling is all comes through the trust center and then out through my heart with my voice connected to my heart, um, that it feels like it comes out really heart-centered and loving. And so after I drew the drawing 2 nights in a row, I'm calling them angel visitors because I literally felt people putting their hands on me, uh, angels, like on different parts of my body to help me with the healing. And I could feel like them pressing down on my solar plexus. I could feel them like pressing on my arms, on my back. And so that was the starting of the major straightening out of the framework of my body, the spine and the neck. And that's continuing because it still has a ways to go. So, but it feels like an out of body experience during that healing. Um, and so I think I've come to realize that healing my neck, my spine, my legs, my feet, and arms since this past January is like I'm a caterpillar in a chrysalis. And as it's happening, parts of me that are healing are coming out of the chrysalis, but I still have some in the chrysalis. So I've had, like I said, a lot of activations and upgrades all while I'm to be waiting and in the quiet, because as this is happening, it's not going to be to my highest good to also be putting myself out too much and while I'm still trying to heal. So, but they have been telling me, well, it is time to kind of do a little few more things now. So I agreed to do this. So this is my first time speaking out. And so, like, this slide is all about my light language and energetic healing. And so, what I think of my spiritual calling right now is how I use my light language and energetic healing capabilities to bring those who find me the channeled healing and messages that their soul and body need. And I use light language and energy to remove energy blockages and provide messages that come through my guides and your guides in a session. So I speak, sing, sign, and tone light language. Everything that comes through me is channeled for your highest good. And so I wanted to do a little light language for you right now. And so what this will be is like an energetic healing for clearing of blockage for whatever you and your team would like for it to be for you. So in your mind, think of something you might have been thinking about that you want to release, or you want help with expanding, anything like that. So um, as I speak, um, you won't want to listen to it with your mind. You want to have your eyes closed and either your hands open in front of you on your lap. I like to put my hand on my heart and one on my solar plexus because, like I said, my solar plexus is my trust center. So I like to say, so when somebody is speaking light language, whatever is for my highest good, and my trust center will allow me to receive what is best for me. And your guides will also help you with that. So you don't want to listen with your unconscious mind and let your mind chatter at you. So if you close your eyes and you're in the receiving mode and you're listening with your soul self and feeling it with your heart. And I like to think of my soul self as it's right here in my body. My divine soul self is in my body. Your higher heart is right here where that little dip in your throat is. And I just put my one of my fingers right there where my higher heart and my soul self is, and then I have the lower hand part on my heart, and then I put the rest on my solar plexus. But whatever feels right for you, that's just what I do. And then as I speak the light language, just have your eyes closed, just listen and let it soak in, and then just concentrate on love and joy, because everything, and then when I speak love light language, it's always based on love and joy. And then whatever intention I have, which this is just an energetic clearing, and it'll go into some speaking, and I'll always be signing, but it will also, I also love to bring through like Mother Mary toning or song, because that is also very healing in addition to any just regular light language. So close your eyes and be open to what you see in your mind's eye, feel in your heart, and know in your body as the codes come through. And whatever experience you have is good. Here we go. Yellow Yeshalagadiano. Yeshikaralu Gatikashato, Yeshatigadia, what the Alodiana, no, the Adicadiata show. Yeshatiana, no, the yellow, the Yashatakadiga, Shatataya, what a Geshatikadigal, Shalo, Yala, the Katayana, no, Yeshata. Ishaloyata Ishatokoyan, Halodiga, get together, get a shitoyan, and that he gets Shitokiriado, Tatiana, Giriata, Tatiana, Nalo, Ishatata, Kadiana, Naloeta, Ishaloya. Ishatoka, Ishoroka, Ainadoka, Ishitoko, Iana, Hayatoka, Shataka, Ayataka, Shakatagarialo, with the Tikariata, Shitata, Loeta, Kayashatako, yada, 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 yada. Yashaloya yaloya 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 shaloya yaloya 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 yashoda yaloya yashaloya yaloya tete yaloya kishite yaloya titi yaloya shatata yana no yada kariya shatata yana yaloya yaloya ti yalo. Yeshaloya yaloita yeshaloi yaloya yeshaloya na yalo yeshaloya na yaloi yalo yeshanoya wakajena naloya tata shishaloya na yato kaishalali yashaloya na yalo. Yeshatakoya nahalo yatakashia kototoya na yatoka shatatoya na loya boya teya. Yadosha Jishata kolana yatoka ishalo retianano. Ishalo tata na halo tata ishatakotote na yatokasha. So just now come back, wiggle your fingers and your toes, and just come back, and then just think about how that felt in your body, what you're tune into your divine soul self and see what might have happened for you, what might have come through for you for whatever you were asking for. And the last slide I have is, this is a picture with a poem on it that I created quite a while back, and the slide is called Painting the Colors of My Life. So envision you're painting the colors of your life. And painting the colors of your life creates and guides your growth, whether it's demonstrated or not. So whether you're consciously or unconsciously thinking, you're painting the colors of your life, but consciously creating is going to be way more colorful than unconscious. And so the poem goes, painting the colors of your life creates and guides your growth, whether it is demonstrated or not. Likewise, a tree's trunk and crown are seen above the ground, but its roots are both fed and stabilize the tree are unseen below the ground. As you traverse life's storms and the rainbows appear, the mystery of your life unfolds like the beauty of a sunset at the end of the day. And I think the last thing I would like to share is this card that I picked today, which I think is really fun. It says, "Forever in my light." I asked, what do I need to know today? And so I'm forever in my light, which the subtitle of that is Safe and Sound. You live forever in the light of creation. There is no need to worry. You and those you love are safe. The healing light of angels fills heaven and earth. It is everywhere always. Feel it in your heart, like an eternal flame glowing throughout the universe, through your days and nights, forever uniting, healing, and transforming all. We are forever flowing through creation, and we are forever changing. Yet I am always with you, for I am the ebb and flow of your spirit, and the love that stems from your eternal heart. I am a warm breeze that whispers in your sleep. And just my last comments here. I feel so connected to heaven and earth. I am the bridge between them, living in my love and light, joy and peace. I came here knowing the feeling of love. I want to magnify love and joy. And with my whole being, I've opened my heart, my body, my mind, and my spirit to love and joy. And my hope is that every single person, that they can open their life to more love, joy, and compassion for themselves, others, and the universe. And that's what I had to share for today. So you have a little bit of my journey, which has been quite amazing, and it's still amazing.